There's a lot that can be learned from One Piece when it comes to world building, writing, and building up to impactful moments and character writing. But not a lot is said online about One Piece's political discourse. One Piece is a series that blends adventure with action and nuanced political undertones, making it more than just a typical action-packed shonen manga. Oda weaves intricate political themes into the storyline, offering insightful commentary on various societal and political issues. The series delves into complex power structures, governmental corruption, discrimination, and the consequences of absolute authority. But what types of real-world political ideologies do these themes actually represent? And how many comments will I get correcting my pronunciation of Luffy this time around? I can't wait to find out. I even got some surprisingly philosophical criticisms. I do not know if it's Luffy or Luffy, but can anyone ever know? Think about it. Welcome to Supernova, your fantasy and sci-fi cosmic explosion. And this is the politics of One Piece. Let's get to it. The world government within One Piece serves as a central entity governing the world and is depicted as an institution with both tremendous power and deep-rooted corruption. Through the narrative, Oda addresses the dangers of centralized power, illustrating how absolute authority can lead to exploitation, inequality, and the suppression of freedoms. The narrative explores the impact of the world government's decisions on different regions and communities, shedding light on social injustices, discrimination, and the struggles faced by marginalized groups. The themes of discrimination against Fishmen and merfolk on Fishman Island, for example, echo real-world issues of racism and prejudice, highlighting the challenges faced by oppressed minorities. Moreover, the series presents revolutionary movements that challenge the oppressive rule of the world government. Characters like Monkey D. Dragon and the Revolutionary Army embody the spirit of rebellion against corrupt authority, advocating for societal change and a fairer world. The Void Century, a mysterious and concealed period in the series' history, stands as a political mystery. The deliberate erasure of this century's events by the world government raises questions about transparency, censorship, and the manipulation of history for political gain. Skypiea is an obvious allegory for colonialism, exploring themes of cultural exploitation and the consequences of imperialistic endeavors. The Skypieans face the threat of oppression from the Upper Yard, a land ruled by the self-proclaimed god Eneru. Eneru's quest for dominance and the exploitation of Skypiea's resources mirror historical instances of colonial powers exploiting indigenous cultures for their own gain. The arc delves into the impact of imperialism on local cultures, the notion of divine justification for conquest, and the resilience of communities striving to maintain their autonomy in the face of external aggression. Overall, One Piece masterfully intertwines its thrilling adventures with political commentary, inviting readers and viewers to reflect on real-world political dynamics, power struggles, and the complexities of governance within a captivating and fantastical narrative. For each of these political themes, the idea here is to correlate them a little bit with their real-world political theory counterpart, and trace which political view exactly Oda wants to convey with his work. Let's first take a look at the world government. The world government in One Piece symbolizes a complex political entity that mirrors real-world governance structures and explores multifaceted political themes. It represents a global authority that aims to maintain control over the world's affairs, striving for order and unity. However, beneath its facade of justice and order, the world government harbors corruption, manipulation, and the suppression of information to maintain its power. This portrayal aligns with themes found in real-world politics, particularly authoritarianism, hegemony, and the abuse of power. The world government exercises control through various mechanisms such as the Cipher Pole agencies, the Marines, and the Seven Warlords of the Sea. These entities, akin to intelligence agencies, military forces, and alliances in our world, operate with significant autonomy, implementing the government's policies while perpetuating its influence globally. The series depicts how the government's absolute power leads to a lack of accountability and unchecked authority, drawing parallels with authoritarian regimes and the concentration of power in the hands of a select few. Moreover, One Piece explores themes of propaganda and censorship within the world government. The government controls the dissemination of information, manipulating narratives to maintain its legitimacy and suppress dissent. This echoes real-world concerns about media manipulation and the distortion of truth by those in power to shape public opinion and maintain control over the masses. When they manipulate the public's perception of what happened in Alabasta to favor the Marines, for example. Additionally, the Reverie arc in One Piece delves into geopolitical issues and power struggles among nations under the world government's umbrella. It reflects real-world geopolitics, where different nations navigate alliances, conflicts, and negotiations, all while operating within the framework established by a global authority. Overall, One Piece presents a nuanced portrayal of the world government, exploring political themes such as authoritarianism, hegemony, propaganda, censorship, and geopolitical power struggles, inviting readers to critically examine the nature of governance, authority, and the implications of centralized power structures in society. Another work of fiction that explores similar themes of authoritarianism, manipulation, and the complexity of power is George Orwell's 1984. This dystopian novel depicts a totalitarian regime led by the omnipresent figure of Big Brother, governing through surveillance, propaganda, and the suppression of dissent. Delves into the erosion of individual freedoms, the distortion of truth through government-controlled media, and the consequences of absolute state authority on society. I know, it seems a bit bizarre to compare the two of them, but it shares parallels with One Piece in its exploration of how authoritarian governments maintain control, manipulate information, and wield power to subjugate their populace, offering a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked authority and the suppression of independent thought. Now let's talk about the Fishman. In the Fishman Island arc of One Piece, Oda delves into themes of racism, discrimination, and the cycle of hatred. The arc sheds light on the long-standing animosity and prejudice between humans and fishmen, mirroring real-world racial tensions. The Fishmen, as a marginalized group, have endured centuries of discrimination, segregation, and oppression at the hands of humans. This mirrors historical racial prejudices, drawing parallels to real-world discrimination against minorities. I mean, their place of living is literally sunk to the bottom and lies underneath the noble land. The message doesn't get more visual than that. Oda uses this arc to explore the origins of prejudice and the perpetuation of hatred through generations. The Fishmen harbor resentment towards humans due to historical injustices, while humans maintain prejudiced attitudes toward fishmen due to fear and ignorance. The cycle of hatred is vividly portrayed through flashbacks and present-day conflicts, illustrating how the actions and misunderstandings of the past continue to impact current generations, fueling mistrust and hostility. Moreover, the narrative highlights the importance of breaking this cycle of animosity and promoting understanding and cooperation between the two races. Luffy and his crew serve as catalysts for change, advocating for equality and unity, challenging discriminatory beliefs and fostering empathy between humans and fishmen. The arc emphasizes the need to confront and dismantle systemic prejudices and stereotypes ingrained in society, promoting a message of acceptance, reconciliation, and shared humanity. Another interesting nuance explored in this theme is the character of Arlong, whose entire human-hating persona is initially introduced as a textbook antagonist superiority complex, but many chapters later it is contextualized as a trauma response and overcompensation for being considered inferior for so long. I really appreciate this storytelling touch. Oda's portrayal of the fishmen and their struggles against discrimination offers a poignant commentary on the destructive nature of racism and the importance of empathy, understanding, and unity in overcoming deep-seated prejudices. The arc serves as a powerful allegory for real-world issues of racism, discrimination, and the need for societal transformation towards inclusivity and equality. Now, when it comes to the Revolutionary Army, I wouldn't say they straight up advocate for anarchy. Neither does Oda, considering that he has a positive view of authority in some specific situations. The original monarchy in Arabasta, Fishman Island, and Dressrosa overall is considered good and just. The Revolutionary Army rather seeks to challenge the oppressive structures imposed by the world government and its corrupted system. Led by Monkey D. Dragon, the Revolutionary Army aims to overthrow the world government's tyranny, seeking freedom, justice, and equality for all. While they oppose the world government's autocratic rule, their objective is not chaos or disorder. Instead, the Revolutionary Army strives for a world where individual freedoms are respected, where people are not oppressed by corrupt institutions, and where the inherent rights of individuals are upheld. I am, however, curious about which type of political structure they have in mind exactly when the story comes to an end and a new type of government is established. The revolutionaries' actions are more aligned with a desire to establish a new world order that prioritizes the voice of the people over the control of a centralized authority. They stand against the tyranny and exploitation perpetuated by the world government, seeking to dismantle oppressive structures and create a more just and equitable society. Therefore, their cause is more about seeking liberation from tyranny and advocating for a system where individuals have the freedom to determine their destiny, rather than advocating for pure anarchy or chaos. They aim for a reformation that upholds fundamental human rights and ensures a fair and just society for all. The Void Century in One Piece plays a significant role in exploring themes of censorship, authority, and hidden history. This mysterious century, which the world government has deliberately erased from historical records, raises questions about the power dynamics of censorship and authority in shaping collective knowledge and societal narratives. The intentional erasure of historical events during this century implies a manipulation of information by those in authority to maintain their control and influence over the world. The Void Century's concealment raises concerns about the authorities' ability to censor and control information, selectively shaping the narratives accessible to the public. It delves into the repercussions of centralized power controlling historical knowledge, suppressing facts that might challenge their legitimacy, and manipulating the truth to serve their interests. Additionally, various plot points in One Piece explore similar themes of censorship and authority. Nico Robin and her pursuit of the Poneglyph serves as a focal point. Robin's journey involves uncovering suppressed historical truths, challenging the world government's imposed narrative, and unveiling the hidden history that they seek to suppress. Her quest for knowledge and the truth underscores the theme of defying censorship and authoritarian control over information. The Reverie arc also touches upon these themes, as it involves the world leaders gathering under the supervision of the world government. The discussions and decisions made during Reverie are heavily controlled and censored, highlighting how those in authority restrict information and manipulate public perception to maintain their power. Throughout the series, Oda uses various narrative elements and character arcs to delve into the consequences of censorship, authorities' control over information, and the importance of uncovering hidden truths to challenge established power structures. These themes are recurrent and emphasize the significance of seeking knowledge and truth in the face of institutional censorship and manipulation. Skypiea serves as an allegory for colonialism, exploring themes of cultural exploitation and the repercussions of imperialistic pursuits. The locals, residing on the floating island in the sky, find themselves in a struggle against the oppressive forces of the upper yard, governed by the self-proclaimed deity Eneru. This narrative mirrors historical realities of colonial powers exploiting indigenous cultures for their resources and asserting dominance. Eneru's quest for control and his exploitation of Skypiea's valuable resources parallel the historical patterns of colonization, where powerful entities sought to exploit the wealth of other lands for their own benefit. The Skypieans' resistance against Eneru's oppressive rule represents the struggles faced by indigenous populations when faced with the intrusion of colonial powers. There's also a fascinating religious element to the whole ordeal. Eneru's character embodies a religiously oppressive force, presenting a narrative that explores themes of religious tyranny and the imposition of new beliefs on native cultures. Eneru, self-proclaimed as the god ruling over Skypiea's upper yard, uses fear and manipulation to establish a cult-like following among the Skypieans. His claim to divine authority, coupled with his control over powerful lightning-based abilities, allows him to subjugate and intimidate the native population. Eneru's emergence and the imposition of his new religion reflect historical instances of religious oppression and the imposition of foreign beliefs on indigenous cultures. The Skypieans, initially resistant to Eneru's dominance, are coerced and forced to conform to his dogma, disrupting their traditional way of life and cultural practices. The arc serves as a commentary on the manipulation of faith for personal gain and the exploitation of religious beliefs to maintain control and power over a populace. Moreover, the Skypiea arc delves into the idea of challenging established religious hierarchies. Characters like Mont Blanc Noland and Calgara, along with the Straw Hat Pirates, stand against Enru's oppressive rule, symbolizing resistance against religious tyranny and advocating for freedom of belief and cultural autonomy. Overall, Skypiea adeptly navigates themes of religious oppression, illustrating the repercussions of forced religious dogma on indigenous cultures, while championing the importance of individual freedom of belief and the right to resist oppressive religious regimes. So, based on all of these points so far, what exactly is Oda's political view and what is he trying to convey politics-wise through One Piece? Oda challenges readers to question the legitimacy of authoritarian systems, emphasizing the need for accountability, transparency, and the decentralization of power to prevent exploitation and uphold individual freedom. What this boils down to overall is that Oda's political view in One Piece advocates for transparency, equality, empathy, and the importance of resisting oppressive structures to pave the way for a fairer, more just society. I wouldn't say it is possible to pigeonhole his political view into left or right, because the whole One Piece political philosophy doesn't really fit any of them perfectly. It values the collective, but also individual freedom above all else. It criticizes tyranny, but is lenient with good and fair monarchs. It understands ultimate freedom as the highest achievement, but doesn't condone anarchy. He manages to discuss these themes without wholeheartedly assuming a definitive political side, in my opinion. One Piece presents a lot of political themes and societal commentaries throughout its narrative. While it offers a comprehensive exploration of various political dynamics, there are a few aspects that might appear inconsistent or less thoroughly addressed. Like I already mentioned, Oda's portrayal of monarchies within the series can be seen as somewhat inconsistent. While he criticizes the oppressive rule of the world government, the series also features instances where monarchies are depicted as fair and just. For example, the kingdoms of Alabasta, Dressrosa, and Fishman Island are depicted as benevolent monarchies. This portrayal might seem inconsistent in the broader critique of authoritarian rule, as some monarchies in the series are presented favorably despite criticisms of centralized power. The exact political ideology advocated by the Revolutionary Army remains somewhat ambiguous. While they oppose the tyranny of the world government, their precise vision for a new world order isn't explicitly articulated. The series leans towards advocating for societal change and fairness, but it doesn't distinctly outline the specific political structure or system they aim to establish in place of the existing authority. This ambiguity might be viewed as inconsistent in terms of presenting a clear alternative to the established governing body. While these aspects might seem inconsistent or underdeveloped in the series' political discussion, it's important to note that One Piece is primarily a shonen manga focused on adventure and character-driven storytelling. Its political themes serve as a backdrop to the broader narrative, and while they are thought-provoking, they might not be as exhaustive or explicitly detailed as in some works solely focused on political discourse. So I don't really hold any of those points against Oda. Oda's One Piece is an epic saga that transcends typical shonen manga tropes, delving into multifaceted political themes and societal commentaries. At its core, Oda critiques authoritarianism and centralized power structures epitomized by the corrupt world government. He highlights the inherent risks of absolute control, emphasizing the need for accountability, transparency, and the decentralization of power to safeguard individual freedoms. The series addresses discrimination and racism through the Fishman Island arc, shedding light on deep-rooted prejudices and advocating for empathy, reconciliation, and the dismantling of systemic biases. Furthermore, Oda's critique extends to themes of censorship, hidden history, and cultural exploitation. The Void Century serves as a cautionary tale about the manipulation of information by authorities, emphasizing the significance of seeking truth and challenging established narratives. Skypiea serves as an allegory for colonialism, urging readers to reflect on the consequences of imperialism and religious oppression. Overall, Oda's political view in One Piece advocates for transparency, equality, empathy, and resistance against oppressive structures to pave the way for a fairer society. His narrative avoids aligning entirely with any specific political ideology, as it values both individual freedoms and collective well-being, criticizes tyranny while acknowledging just leadership, and advocates for change without endorsing chaos. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this content and want to support this channel, the best way to do it is to engage through subscribing, liking the video, and leaving a comment. I really appreciate it.